Good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday. It's September 14th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It is a Tuesday morning, and the sun is shining. Going to be a terrific day, we know, and we're glad to have you with us. And, of course, each Tuesday we're on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, here when you need them in Wilson County. Vanderbilt Health provides care and wellness personalized to your needs. They're right here in our community. Locations throughout Wilson County, and they're growing to provide you and your family with the right care in the most convenient location. Now, we do remind you again, of course, of the Women's Health, Vanderbilt Center for Women's Health, dedicated to delivering the highest care to women in all stages of life. It's here in Lebanon. The Vanderbilt Center for Women's Health provides a wide range of obstetrical and gynecological care, including annual well women exams and pap smears, preventive screenings, pregnancy care and delivery. They offer same-day appointments, and the Women's Health team is committed to caring for you and your unique needs. Also, the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center is now serving patients in Wilson and surrounding counties. This is a nationally renowned cancer center. It has experienced on-staff board-certified radiation oncologists. It has the latest and most advanced radiation technology with pinpoint precision, and treats all types of cancers. Provides the highest quality protocol and technology in the industry, as well as convenient real-time access to clinical data for patients through VanderbiltHealthConnect.com. We remind you again that hospitals are for healing, they're for new life, they're for recovery, but they're also places of innovation, learning, and exploration, but maybe more than anything, hospitals are about community. Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, honored to serve Wilson County, be part of all the great things that are happening here, and of course located at 1411 Baddour Parkway here in Lebanon. Well, this is the Tuesday we feature a representative of Mount Juliet City Government. I'm really happy to have on the phone this morning Kenny Martin, who is the city manager for the city of Mount Juliet. Kenny, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Coleman and everybody else, Miss MJ and Billy and everybody out there. I hope everybody's having a great morning.
We're doing just fine, and we're glad to hear your voice. In my humble opinion, you're not with us as much as maybe you ought to be, being the city manager and knowing where knowing where everything is. It is good to have you.
Oh, it's good to have you guys too, and I do miss seeing y'all in person. And it's funny, I probably went a little overboard when this COVID started happening. Y'all started doing more of these Zoom meetings and things of that nature, and the radio calling in, and looking forward to seeing you guys in person again. And every time I think we're getting a little bit past this thing, some type of new variant pops up, and as I was telling you earlier, a lot of folks in my family have had the COVID and fortunately have survived, and my mom and dad, and I want to give a shout out to our local emergency officials in Mount Juliet. My mom and dad couldn't get in anywhere, and they were both sick, and we got them into the HCA TriStar there in Mount Juliet on Golden Bear, and they took super great care of them and ended up transferring them to one of the hospitals, and they're on the road to recovery now, so I know what a lot of folks have been dealing with, and I just continue to pray for our entire country and our county, and just pray for those that have either sick or ailing family members that have lost family members, because we've had a lot of that at City Hall, in our family there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to what extent you'd been affected at City Hall. I take it that you've managed to improvise to get the job done, regardless of the situation.
We have, the team's been phenomenal. We've had these, when this first came about, we were scrambling to do different things and make City Hall safer and all of our city facilities, and we did that, and I think we did really well at that, and we've been fortunate for the most part, but we have had some situations that were very sad with some folks, spent some time in the hospital, and unfortunately even a few folks that passed that we lost, and we just got to continue to be safe and work together and get through this thing. It's like we've been saying this a long time, and again, every time I think we're getting close, and I know it's depressing, but it is what it is, and everybody's done a great job, and school systems have done a great job, and the medical folks, gosh, I don't know what we'd do without them.
Yeah. Well, what was your meeting like last night?
It was a long meeting, but it was mostly development type driven. Even with the pandemic, some other things going on in our country, development development, at least in Wilson County, as you can tell. I mean, everywhere you look, it's booming in Watertown and Mount Juliet and Lebanon. And, you know, we're blessed in that way because there's a lot of places in the country it's not. And we continue to pray for those, you know, in Waverly and other places across the country that, you know, with flooding and things of that nature. We've been through a lot of that ourselves. So we definitely know how it feels. So we'll continue to pray for those folks. But for us, in spite of all the things that's been going on in the pandemic, the growth continues. I mean, if you drive around Mount Juliet, you know, of course, a lot of that growth is still rebuilt from the tornado. If you go down Mount Juliet Road, you'll see 3 or 4 or 5 new buildings being built that were in the tornado path. These are commercial-type buildings. And you can tell the buildings are going to be beautiful. You know, we hate what happened with the tornado, but, you know, after you pick up the pieces, the building starts again. And if you come by the Mount Juliet Middle School there on Mount Juliet Road, it gets a little smaller each day as they continue to remove the rubble there. And, you know, it won't be long, our school director and his team will start building the new school there. So we know how busy they are, and we appreciate them. But just everywhere you look, mainly there's lots of growth.
And as far as your meeting last night, you were dealing with that. Is that mostly things that's pretty routine and mundane and maybe not capture too much attention from our listeners this morning, or you need to talk some more about that?
Yeah, it was. Probably the thing that drove the biggest conversation is there was a development. It's along Curd Road and comes out on Beckwith Road. And there's about 57 acres of city park land that backs up this particular development. And part of this process is that they're going to buy 22, I believe it is, acres from the city. And in exchange for that 22 acres, not only will they pay for the property, but they'll also spend somewhere close to, I don't know, I want to say it's like $800,000 to put the parking lot in, the infrastructure, the roadway, and also build a trailhead and restroom facility, which is a nice addition. But because of the zoning and density and things of that nature, ingress, egress, there's a lot of debate about that. We're working out the language, and that went well. At the beginning of the meeting, we recognized Miss Sandra Shoup, who she's a Wilson County resident. As a matter of fact, she lives in Lebanon. She was the 2018 winner of Miss Senior Wilson County, and she'd won what's referred to as the Miss Senior Tennessee Elite Tri-Star, I believe it's referred to. And so we recognized her, and the mayor had spoke to a group of Boy Scouts, which was pretty cool because you're sitting there thinking of these kids, you know, they're as innocent as the day is long, they're bright-faced, and they're sitting there, and part of their merit badge program is they've had to come to a meeting and talk to government officials, in this particular case, our mayor and some of our commissioners. So, yeah, it was a bit of I hate to say mundane because that sounds not exciting, but there was nothing controversial or anything like that on the meeting, just typical city business. There's a total of 13 items, but fortunately nothing controversial, just good things that you'd see in a prosperous city that's moving forward.
Well, let me ask one other thing. You're talking about was this pretty much a 22-acre swap that you're talking about there? It sounds like it's whatever it is a win-win situation for both the business or industry and the city of Mount Juliet.
It is. Coleman, as a matter of fact, it's in our vice mayor's district, and got to give him a lot of credit on this, is because the 57 acres we bought, to be honest with you, it was for future park use, and so there wasn't any immediate plans for it. We've got 2 other parks we're working on that'll be more immediate with, you know, dog parks and walking trails and pavilions, things of that nature, and soccer fields. But this particular park was just acreage for the future in an area of Mount Juliet that we felt like we need to have some future park expansion. So there was no immediate plan. So when this developer, in this particular case, it's Beezer Homes, just happened to be wanting to develop a subdivision that adjoined this property, they'd reached out to the city and the vice mayor about possibly buying some of the acreage. And not only, so basically we'll end up with the property pretty darn close to free in exchange for that, also because we're selling part of what we paid for it back, if that makes sense. So we'll end up still keeping the majority of the property, and the developer will develop the majority of the park on the front end.
Yeah.
So that's a great partnership, because there's, you know, at the end of the day, we'll basically have a park a lot sooner without any out-of-pocket expense. So just a really good partnership with the developer, and of course our residents will benefit.
Right, and then the $800,000 figure or thereabouts that is kind of being handed to the city. That sounds good too, I think.
It is, yes. They'll build it, they'll do everything, and then basically they'll deed that back over to the city. And of course, that'll be done on our property. And in exchange, they'll buy the other property from us. So not only do they pay for the property, but they also make an investment in the property we're keeping. So it's definitely a win-win for us. And of course, it's a win-win for the developer as well, because they needed that particular acreage. And the win for us is they put all the infrastructure in.
All right. Mount Juliet City Manager Kenny Martin is my guest this morning. Our program is presented by Vanderbilt-Wills County Hospital, and you're listening to Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. And this update brought to you by Bates Ford, and that regular oil change is only $24.95, up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still a limping along here on 24 westbound as they work this truck crash that happened, 3 hours ago on 24 westbound at OHB north of town. As you head up towards the Jolton area, that's got traffic extremely slow as we check it out live. 24 westbound is a fool with this accident that's been out there for quite some time now. 21st and Church, 2 cars are involved there. Stewart's Ferry Pike and McCrory Creek and Donaldson, watch for that wreck. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken is now open inside the Assembly Food Hall near the National Museum of African American Music on Broadway. Order online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
As the Titans try to win a second consecutive AFC South Division title, every snap
gives Henry around right in to the 5 to the end zone.
Every first down, every touchdown.
Touchdown Titans!
It's all heard here.
Brought to you by Vixen Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas and Tennessee 811. Call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
All right, we continue. Coleman and Company here for a Tuesday morning, presented by Vanderbilt-Wills County Hospital. We'll get back to Kenny Martin and Mount Juliet in just a moment. I do want to mention it was really nice yesterday to have as my guest Keith Harrison and Jeffrey Turner with the Wilson County Ag Hall of Fame, and their installation banquet is tonight. Just a reminder here, their tickets are available. You can call Diane Major at 444-1890, extension 3, and get tickets even today. The cost is $20. Jordan's Catering will be preparing the meal, and I think the doors open about 6 with the reception, the actual banquet at 6:30, and then the Hall of Fame installation ceremony begins at 7, and Keith will be the master of ceremonies, and if you can make that, I recommend it. They always have a real fine occasion. Well, back to Kenny Martin in the city of Mount Juliet. You don't have much of a farming background, do you, Kenny?
No, but I have to brag. So I did plant some tomato plants this year, and they did pretty good, even though I know some people said they didn't have much luck with tomatoes. I made a little bit of a mistake. I didn't build the cage around it high enough, so I got to the point where I was getting tomatoes, and then the deer got them.
Uh-oh.
And then the birds got them, and I finally figured out to build it higher and cover them up. And so I ended up getting a few tomatoes. So I was sort of proud of that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Mine have done better this year than in some years. I've had some to share with other people, and it's always nice to have them brag about my tomatoes a little bit. We're still eating them. They're a little bit smaller now, but I think I'm going to have enough to last till frost gets here, and I hope so.
Oh, man. I didn't have that much luck. I think I planted them too late, but I was pretty proud of it. That's the first time I've done that in a long time, but luckily, I had a good friend of mine, Mr. Whip Middleton, who's an older gentleman, and he always plants a big garden, so he called me several times to come over and pick up some. So I have to admit, though, his were way better than mine. So I don't know what his magic is, but he did a much better job.
Well, I sort of mentioned that in a way, kind of a follow-up here. You don't have anywhere as much agriculture land in Mount Juliet, the greater Mount Juliet area now, as you used to do. Business and industry and housing have taken over a lot of what was once farmland in that area.
That's exactly right. I remember when I came to the city 32 years ago, you're right, there's lots of open area and things of that nature. And I never envisioned, to be honest with you, way back when, I knew there'd be some growth just because where we're at. But at that time, if you lived in Lebanon, or if you lived in Mount Juliet, everybody that went to Nashville, Lebanon to shop or to buy things, either that or Antioch or Rivergate. And, to see what's, the growth that's happening, it's a blessing in one way, but I have to admit that you miss a lot of that open space as well. But we understand that there's people coming from all over the country and beyond that wants to live in Wilson County. So over time, I think probably the farmland will be further and further east, as you might imagine. And the stuff on the west end of Lebanon and things of that nature, of course, probably will get, I hate to say gobbled up is the word, but gobbled up for growth. And then I understand it. We just have to make sure we manage that growth well and take care of the folks that were here and established such a great county before we got here.
What efforts do you put forth to manage that growth? We've had a lot of discussion about that here with Mayor Bell, Mayor Ash before, and I guess Mayor Craig had even before that as to how to deal with it. And obviously, I mean, who could blame anybody for wanting to come to Wilson County in Middle Tennessee? But at the same time, we want to keep things as near as possible to our standard of living, and it's there's a lot to deal with.
It is. I think that when Mount Juliet wasn't growing, the first thing you think of, it used to be 5-acre lots, and then you had acre lots, and before you know it, they go to half acres and quarter acres, and the density just gets denser and denser. And so what I've noticed that our city's starting to do is sort of go back the other way now. Is developers, of course, always want as dense a subdivision as they can get. They're going to want RS10 or RS15 or instead of RS40. So it's just they want to make it as dense as they can, which we understand. They want to make money, but then the city has to think too about the quality of life, about the ability for people to have enough room to expand their driveway if they need to, as they have kids. I was telling you earlier that we've got a fourth grandchild in one home that's on the way. Well, at some point, those 4 kids are going to be driving. So, my son and daughter all have to think about the future. If that's the home they're going to be in, if you're on a tiny lot of, let's say maybe 5,000 to 7,000 square feet, well, where are you going to have a driveway in the future? Well, if you don't have a driveway, then my son and daughter are going to be complaining about not being able to park on the street. So the city's constantly looking at that. As a matter of fact, we were talking last night about a tree preservation ordinance, that would enable us to, and we're already doing a lot of that in-house, but we're just focusing on it a little bit more so when these developers come in, they just don't do mass land clearing and tear down every tree, tear down the natural buffers between them and maybe what might be residential beside them. So say, for example, somebody's got a 5-acre site and the developer buys 80 acres beside them and wants to bring in, say, 300 houses. Well, if they've had this, quiet area for so many years, all of a sudden the developer comes in and just does massive land clearing and there's suddenly no buffer there, we have to be cognizant of and aware of how that may impact them. So we're starting to require now that buffers be left in place, certain trees be inventoried and kept in place. And I know it makes it sound in a lot of ways like this, people would say tree huggers, but that's not the case. We love trees and we want to make sure we keep them. And plus, from a developer standpoint, it can save them a lot of money without having to replant smaller trees that are going to take another 50 years to get to any kind of size. So we're really looking at density right now. We've been looking at aesthetics for years. That's why we require all brick or stone, things of that nature. We got away from the vinyl side and things of that nature years ago. Not that we didn't think it was a good product, and it lasts and hold up, but it doesn't hold up like brick and stone. And even hardy board now is a much better product than the old days of aluminum and vinyl side. And so those are things we do because we're trying to be aware of the people that are here to make sure that their property values continue to go up. And if you've noticed in Wilson County, property values have definitely soared. So that shows that we're doing something right, but we're focusing a little bit more now on the density.
Well, there's a thing with you that maybe you have quite a bit of density there, as we've already talked about. But in other parts of the county and to the east, maybe you would really like to see more people there, so you can have some stiffer requirements and stay where you are and still have all the growth that you want and maybe more than you'd even like to deal with. Whereas in other places, the standards aren't as strict because they are really encouraging people to come.
That's right, yeah, and I think you have the best of both worlds. The good thing is that Wilson County is a place a lot of people want to be. That's evident. We've got people moving in here from California and New York, and you name it, every day. Lebanon, Watertown has the same thing. So the neat thing is that you're already in high demand, so you can sort of set the standard of what you want to see in your community. You don't have to settle. I like to use that word. We don't have to settle, and beg people to come here. They want to come here, so they're willing to meet whatever requirements we're willing to put in place. And if they're not, then maybe they don't want to be here bad enough. That's not sound ugly. That's just saying we don't have to settle. We can set our standards higher. We can ask developers to give a little bit more back to offset the impact they're having on the community, to add sidewalks, to add maybe a little bit more landscape, and to leave some trees, to build a better product, and it's not that we're not, to still build affordable homes where people can afford to live here, maybe not allow as many apartments or townhomes, maybe focus a little bit more on making sure they're actual houses for sale and not going to be rental homes.
Yeah.
All those things to be aware of so you're not impacting other people that are already here in a negative way.
Let me shift gears slightly here. We're still dealing with growth, but you've got this Mount Juliet Road over the interstate there where the bridge is being widened. Can you give us a progress report on that?
Absolutely. That's going along really well. We've probably got, probably another 10 months, I'd say, on that. And you like to hope that the weather's going to hold up and we can stick to that. But it's right on, if not ahead of schedule. We thought we were going to get delayed momentarily when we had the fatal accident there and the truck that caught on fire. But fortunately, we got through that and there wasn't as much damage as that we anticipated. And that's going along great. And I appreciate everybody's patience. We know that anytime you go through a construction zone, TDOT and the contractor there in the city have done a great job of keeping the traffic flowing. But you know how it is, anytime you've got the orange barrels, even though the same amount of lanes are still open as they were before, the perception is because it's construction, it tends to slow the traffic down. And so, yeah, there's a lot of traffic, and and our mayor, our vice mayor, our commission, and staff are fully aware that we need to do everything we can to get some roads improved. And if there's probably a number one goal right now that we've got great fire service and great police service, because public safety is first and foremost, it's infrastructure. We like to say that our 5 and 10 year goals right now will all start with ours, and they're roads, and we've got to focus on that. The money's been set aside. The majority of roads that we're going to be improving is a partnership with the state of Tennessee, and basically at the end of the day, just like the bridge at 40, we partnered with the state. They're paying half. We're paying half on that. And if you think about that bridge, I want to give really kudos to our elected body. They stepped up. That bridge is used by more people than just City of Mount Juliet residents. Of course, it's used by county residents or anybody that just happens to want to be trying to get to the interstate from Laverne, Smyrna, whatever. And our elected body and staff realize if we don't fix that bridge, it's going to continue to be sort of that, picture the hourglass. It's not letting as much sand through. Adding that other lane doesn't sound like a lot. By the time you add the bike lanes, the sidewalks, the decorative street lights and things of that nature, it's amazing how much better that's going to flow. And I can tell you this, Coleman, for folks out there listening, it may not look like it, but we've probably got no less than, probably somewhere between 5 to 8 road projects that we're working on right now. And, they inch along each day, and you feel like you talk about them forever, but that's just the way that these projects are. You can use 109 as an example. They take forever, but when they finally get finished, you realize what a blessing they are, but they just have to take a long time because the environmental, the right-of-way, the design, the utilities, you name it. There's just so many different steps that you've got to go through, and every time you think that you get one step ahead, something occurs and you go 2 steps back, and you just have to keep clawing away. And that bridge is a perfect example. We've talked about that bridge for years, and we're finally there. And the day that thing opens and that extra lane's added, it's going to be amazing to watch the traffic numbers and the density and how quick it changes from something so simple, which makes me realize, can you imagine today Mount Juliet Road had we not built Golden Bear Parkway, which is a city street?
We are in our last minute, and Kenny, it's really good to have you with us this morning. We've covered quite a bit of territory. I was also thinking you get that new interchange at Central Pike, things are going to be a lot different too. But that's a while in the making, I think.
Yes, we're getting closer on that, though.
Okay, good. Thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Always good to have you with us, and we'll talk to you next time, whenever that is. Okay.
Thank you, Coleman.
And thank you. Kenny Martin, City Manager for the City of Mount Juliet. And that is part one of Coleman and Company. It's presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We hope you'll stay with us for more here on FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, they have Lamprey quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty. Extremely durable and well-built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Cleanup continues on that truck crash that's been up there all morning on 24 westbound at OHB. As you head towards Jolton, traffic's still very slow as we check it out live. They're trying to upright that truck right now that went over into the ditch. Again, that's 24 westbound, right at OHB, headed towards the Jolton area. It's heavy coming the other direction. Centennial Boulevard at Briley Parkway. It looked like 2 cars involved there. Gatlinburg Wine Cellars, home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Log on to GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Hi, this is Rick Wittrig. Do you have projects that need painting? Well, why paint when the Powder Coat Art Company will beautifully powder coat your project with a tough, durable, baked-on finish? We have options for commercial, residential, automotive, off-road, and motorcycle parts. See us on Facebook or Instagram, or for a quote, go online at powdercoatart.com or come see us at 1746 Sparta Pike in Lebanon.
A few scattered showers and storms are in the forecast today, otherwise skies will be partly cloudy. Highs today will top out in the mid-80s. For Wednesday, we'll have showers and storms, so keep the umbrella handy. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. Here's a Tuesday morning, time for us to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. And we have Betty Kelly here this morning, substituting for Sean Dozier. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think he just decided it was time for you to come and do some of the talking for Hearthside. Do you have something special you're going to tell us today?
Actually, yeah, I do.
All right.
It's National Assisted Living Week. It's a big deal.
National Assisted Living Week. All right.
Kind of recognize the people that work in assisted livings and also our residents that we care for. So we're doing some special things this week, and we're going to be doing things with Adoration, which they're going to be doing a lima bean auction, which is fun for the residents. They have a
lima bean auction.
Yes, unusual, isn't it?
You've done whetted my appetite. I got not
ask.
to eat lima beans, but to know what the lima bean auction's all about.
All righty. Well, the lima bean auction, we actually do pass out dry lima beans. And they each get an equal amount of beans, and they use those to bid on items that Adoration brings. Different things. They bring Kleenex and candy and different things, and so they can bid on those. And when you reach 0 lima beans, you're done. And so it's quite the thing, and they really get into it. So and then we have Greg Herring. He's a Lebanon resident, and he will be singing for us. And on Friday is the big day, and we'll be having it's Ken Carter, and he has a ventriloquist act. and he goes over so well. He does such a great job.
Who is
and,
this?
His name is Ken Carter.
Okay.
And so he does a fantastic job. And so everybody will be looking forward to that. And it'll be a big week.
All right, and the name of the week is
National Assisted Living Week.
National Assisted Living Week. Yeah. And have you done this before?
Oh yeah.
It's something.
It's a yearly
ongoing thing.
Yeah, it's a yearly event, and like I said, it's really to talk about the people that work there and the people that live there and give them recognition. So.
Right. Well, that's good. We have a week for everything else. You might as well,
right.
Have one for assisted living. But there's a lot that goes on, and probably the average person doesn't realize all that it does take place behind the scenes and all that is necessary to have a facility or a community like you have at Hearthside.
Yeah, if you don't have a good staff and you don't have good people helping you, then it doesn't really work out so well.
and of course, you need a good activities director to keep everybody smiling and happy as much as possible.
Well, I try. We do some pretty crazy things around there, but it makes everybody smile, so it's okay.
You like your job.
I do like my job. I've been there for a while.
You and Sean ever get into an argument?
Oh, I wouldn't say argument, but
healthy discussion.
Yeah, we agree to disagree. But we do good.
That, but I would like to pick on him every once in a while if I can.
Hey, I pick on him a lot, so it's okay. But I do want to say that we have a couple of rooms available if anyone is interested, and they're welcome to call, of course, and make an appointment for a tour.
Well, we hope people keep that in mind, and of course, sometimes you want to wait till the last minute, or you put it off as long as you can. Not an advisable thing, really,
right?
And especially if you've got some rooms available now, because they might not be in
they turn over
a week or two, or a month or two. Yeah. Well, as activities director, I mean, you've got the retirement community too. Now, do you do anything for them? Really,
myself, I don't do that much with them, but they're pretty independent, so they do their own thing. They have their cars, and but we do group things like go to some restaurants or go out, for a movie or whatever. So
okay. Yeah. Well, we might remind everybody there's more information available. I believe it's hearthside.org, hearthsideliving.org.
Right.
hearthsideliving.org. But of course, we try to remind everybody of a few things every week here, and it's good to have Betty with us this morning. Now, one of the things we always close out with is a Hearthside hello. Now, are you ready for that, or do you even have one?
Oh, I do.
You do?
I do, yeah. I'd really like to give a Hearthside hello to Marge Andrews. Now, she's one of the residents in our homes in the independent living. But she has been an angel, and she's really worked a lot with myself and my, the activity department, and share her time and efforts and.
Marge Andrews.
Marge Andrews.
Marge Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Hearthside hello.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. When we get to that, it's about time to end, but it sure nice to have you with us today, and we're glad to know about
seeing you again.
Assisted Living Week, and call attention to that and let everybody know that there is a lot involved, and y'all are doing a wonderful job at Hearthside. I think we all agree on that.
Thank you.
And stay full nearly all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And fighting COVID still, but doing a good job there too, I hope.
Yep. I think we're coming along. It's been a hard couple of years.
Well, no doubt. What you sort of play with the hand you're dealt, and
right. So we do what we can.
Yeah. Well, Betty, thank you so much. By the way, I still have that
the mask,
that Vanderbilt mask you made me. I appreciate that.
Well, I hope it gives them some love.
We'll see you next time, whenever that is, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Bye-bye.
Betty Kelly, Activities Director for Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Lights Avenue North. You can reach them on the phone at 615-443-1994. When it's time for a helping hand, it's Hearthside. We are 21 before the hour, and I have Beth Petty this morning, who is gracing our studio and going to represent the Lebanon Special School District. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing well. I had a text yesterday from Mr. Benson saying you were going to be here today, and it's nice to see you. I don't know what all you've got to tell us, but anything you ever have to tell us, it's always good. So welcome to our program.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. And sometimes I just ask Mr. Benson if I can have his time on these morning shows so that we can tell you about some of the good things that are going on.
Well, what you have a title, and I don't have it written down here, but you've been around. You've been with the Lebanon. In fact, I'm trying to think. I don't know when you weren't with them. It's been a long time. How long?
This is my 20th year, and I am our Family Resource Center Director and our Community Relations Manager.
Well, it's a big title, and I guess there's a lot that you are responsible for.
Well, I feel like I'm just somewhat responsible because I will just give a huge shout out to our teachers this morning and to our administration. I mean, it's only as good as everybody that's driving our ship. And so we're starting this year with the 4 R's: reset, refocus, restart, and repeat. And I'm going to give kind of a shocking statement that you don't usually want to hear, but I think Mr. Benson would agree that this year LSSD is really heavy on top administration. Now that sounds really shocking, and that's not something that people always want to hear, but let me explain what I mean by that, because we are seeing all of our staff leading and being creative, so they're all stepping up to the plate and filling that top administration category, and we're just enjoying our time and our success that we're having with our students and our families.
Well, you have assumed a role here that's a little bit different, I guess, from a teacher, from other people, but it has a lot to do with our community and with helping people who really need a helping hand.
It does. Has a lot with helping those families and students that need help, and also just educating our community to let them know what is out there and available. So one of the things that we're plugged in today with is our Wilson Works Career Expo, and that's from 2 to 6 today at the Expo Center. I think you had Miss Adina Chumley speaking with you, our Wilson Works Director. At the event today, we will actually have a booth from LSSD. We need workers in transportation, in our after-school program, and in our child nutrition program. So we'll have a booth there, and I can tell you, if you're looking for a job, LSSD is the best place to work.
And these are actual jobs. I mean, you come to work, you get a paycheck.
That's exactly right.
It's not a volunteer thing.
We're going to talk about volunteers in a minute,
All
but
right.
this Wilson Works Career Expo today is actually a hiring event, and it's not just LSSD. There are many tables and booths there with lots of employers, and those employers are needing employees. So we are in our community, we're always growing, and we're always needing those great staff members. And it's also a good time to upgrade the current job you have, or to find a job if you don't have one right now.
You want to tell us some approximate number of jobs that might be available that you're actually looking? How many employees are you looking for?
Well, we're always probably looking for at least 20 employees, and those would be in those positions. It's been really hard for us to find bus drivers, so plugging into that bus driver position could even be a part-time or a sub, as well as the ones for the child nutrition department in our after-school program. But we're always looking for those jobs, and then education jobs are listed on our online job base. And so if you get on there and just look for what we might have an opening in, we'd be glad to have you coming over and starting with us. But this is a little different today in that you would actually get to see someone in person, and then they could direct them back to the online process.
Well, one other thing about this, I think I know the answer here, but maybe somebody that is retired or somebody doesn't want to work full-time, but you have a number of part-time positions that are available where maybe you work in the morning or work in the evening or...
Absolutely. And some of these jobs lend themselves to that too, that it's not a full-time position. It could be the middle of the day for the nutrition program. It could be in the afternoons for our school-age childcare. And then those bus driver positions are morning and afternoon.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if it strikes your fancy at all, take advantage of it.
That's right.
Because
that's right.
you really need help.
We do. And I want to say a big thank you at this point, too, to our community. Last Wednesday, Nika, my coworker, and I were able to drive 40 boxes of school supplies over to Sumner County. Family resource centers across the state of Tennessee helped to provide school supplies for Humphreys County. And just here in Wilson County and Lebanon, like I said, 40 boxes of school supplies were taken up. And Mr. Benson this last week had asked me, we're going to start phase 2 of that process to give back. You know, we had so much help during tornado here in Wilson County, and so our community has just responded like we would expect them to. And we'll start phase 2, which is to adopt a teacher with Waverly Wishes. And so LSSD is going to adopt an elementary school teacher and a middle school teacher, and we'll again be asking the community to help us provide those needs that teacher has lost during the flooding.
Well, now that's got to be gratifying to somebody. I mean, you're not a teacher, but you're with them all the time, and you think of someone who's lost a lot of things in their classroom, and then here's people from a county, two or three counties away that want to help out, and that's got to be gratifying to them. It's got to make them feel a lot better about what's happened there.
That's right. I think, you know, you would have such a feeling of desolation, and then, you know, just to know that you're loved, and even some of the FRCs, I saw that they wrote personal little notes to put in there. We didn't think about that, but I think we'll steal that idea, and we'll try to send some personal notes, which goes along with learning, you know, teaching our students to write a letter. So we can always tie learning into every project we do, and then just teach empathy to our students, which goes along with all of our kindness programs that we have in LSSD.
All right, Beth Petty is here from the Lebanon Special School District. We've got to take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:47. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. It's $49.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Right, that truck that flipped earlier out here on 24 westbound at OHB north of the city as you head up towards the Jolton area. That traffic still limping along up through there because of that earlier crash. Again, that's 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. It is a crawl right now as we check it out live. Coming in from Mount Julian, Wilson County, that traffic on I-40 west through Hermitage starting to pick up as well. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Log on to GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Hey, TP.
Yeah, JB?
You ready?
For Friday Night Lights, you better believe it. Join us on the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show every Friday night after the Lebanon High football game. We'll have all the scores for you and even post-game interviews with all of your Wilson County coaches.
Thank you to our sponsors, Designers Carpet, Fakes and Hooker, Lebanon Appliance, Palometto's Insurance, Sammy B's Restaurant, and Kenny Salas and the hometown team with Keller Williams Realty.
It's the Fakes and Hooker Scoreboard Show with John Boyce and Trenton Perry, right here on WANT 98.9 FM.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tommy Bryan. Join me, Bob Lee, Terry Stafford, and Joe Gardner as we bring you Lebanon High football live every Friday night right here on WANT and WCOR throughout this 2021 season. The Blue Devils celebrate homecoming Friday, September 17 as Coffee County comes to Lebanon. Don't forget Blue Devil football on WANT WCOR Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. Beth Petty representing the Lebanon Special School District. Like you said, every once in a while you want to do some talking, and Mr. Benson says, okay.
He hardly ever tells me no, and I like that. I don't like to be told no.
Oh, you're a jolly person. You haven't exhibited as much of that as you do sometimes here with us this morning. But of course, you got a serious thing you're talking about, and I'm just gonna give it back to you and let you go because I know you got a lot more to tell us.
We do, and we really want to talk about all the partnerships because we can't do it at our school system by ourselves. We do a great job, but we also are humble enough to know that we only are as good as the community that supports us. So last week and this week, we've had Daryl Crouch and Christina Hitchcock with Wilson Works. Oh, I'm sorry, with Everyone's Wilson. I was on Wilson Works, but now we're on Everyone's Wilson. And they are finding faith-based communities and businesses to help support our schools. And we want to work with them. They're going to help us meet physical and volunteer needs, which all of the principals that we've met with have been, yes, please, 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 please. We've got so many things we want to do with our students and families, and just financially and manpower hours, we need the help from the community. Last Friday, too, we had a really interesting lesson in Adrema Higgins' classroom over at our new Jones Brummett School, and she has been studying Native American studies, and we actually made corn husk dolls. And so that tied in civics and STEAM learning, and our fifth graders are now going to teach our first graders how to make those corn husk dolls. So we're crossing academic subjects and grade levels, but our students are becoming those top admin too, and they're starting to do a lot of our leading within the school system. So we're super excited about that.
Well, that's interesting. Fifth graders teaching first graders.
Fifth graders teaching first graders, and you know that's something they will never forget. Yeah. Making that little corn husk doll, they won't forget that, but they also won't forget that they had a student mentor, if you will, that will help them make that doll. But then we know that when they see each other in the hallway, those little ones are going to be waving at that student that helped them.
Yeah, this is a special treat for the little ones.
Very special treat for those little ones. Yesterday, I was at Kiwanis with Judge Barry Tatum, and we actually talked on Coleman a couple weeks ago about our pilot program called SOAR, which is Student Outreach and Resilience. And Becky Kegley is helping lead that at our school level to make sure that we can pilot a mentoring program. We're going to do that at Walter J. Baird and with our alternative school. And no pressure on this, Coleman, but the last time I was here, I put you on the spot to say, hey, we need mentors, Coleman, and you did not step up to the plate. But yesterday, a very famous in Wilson County, beloved woman who has a connection to this radio station, Miss Susie Bay, put her name to paper. So there comes the jolly and the challenge again, Coleman.
Well, I'll have to talk to her about her experience, and we'll see how that goes.
You're going to compare notes first before you start in on that. Well, we also have a new partnership with Friendship School. They have been a long-time partner of ours. So in my 20 years with LSD, they go almost all the way back. I'll tell you a very funny story. One year, they actually collected 200 fresh turkeys and all the fixings to go with those. And over the break, accidentally, one of those turkeys got left in the school in one of the hallways, and someone didn't know it was there. So they didn't have a really great start when they came back from their break because the whole hallway smelled like that turkey.
Oh, no.
And you know what? They just persevered and kept doing it right after that. So we go back a long way with their help with us with feeding students. But this year, we're actually going to create an outdoor living classroom, and we are breaking ground as we speak. And Greg Armstrong is planting strawberries. We're going to have alternative school and our students go out there and help tend to that strawberry patch so they can be learning lots of things that are going on. Probably some of our older students, again, can tell the younger students what's going on, as well as friendship students will be leading some classes with our students out there. And then the final reward of the strawberry patch is that we are going to be working with Patty and Teresa at the Senior Citizen Center to make sure that these quarts of strawberries get to some of the homebound seniors here in Wilson County.
Well, how nice. This is what did you call this? Alternative learning?
It's our alternative school. Sometimes we have a student that might get in a little bit of trouble, but we are really dedicated to keeping that student in our school system.
But what you're doing here is it's sort of a different way of learning. But there's a lot to be learned from anything that you would do like that. Whether it's strawberries or whatever you're dealing with.
Right. There's so many different learning styles, and we know that some of our students do better with hands-on. So just within our civics grant, we want to explore. We were awarded $27,000 for the governor's civics seal grant this year, and we want to explore all those different careers and different ways to learn, and hands-on is definitely one of those ways. We have a lot of students that want to choose a pathway of going and actually working with HVAC and electrical and things like that. So their learning might look a little bit different after high school than maybe a traditional college path. And we want them to know that all those different ways of learning are out there and how they could actually apply that. You know, it all works together, Coleman. We're having this job fair today, and, you know, we want to make sure that our students are learning what's out there. So I know Wilson County students, those students who are getting ready to graduate, they're actually going to the Career Expo this morning.
Well, some of this, I think this is sort of an adventure in learning outside the box, or thinking outside the box in different ways to learn, to teach, and it sounds good to me.
One of the things we really, really want the community to help us with this year, it's our 120th year at Lebanon Special School District, and it's also the 60th year of our oldest school that's still within our system, and that's Byers Dowdy Elementary. So for all those people who love social media and have, you know, things out there, great things to post, we need photos from Lebanon Special over the years. We also need human interest stories. So 6 or 7 years ago, I helped head up the Tucker's Crossroads 100-year celebration, and what we thought might just be more the size of a little pamphlet book turned into a very thick history book, and people to this day stop me and say, I love my history book. I love going back and seeing those old pictures and hearing the stories. So again, a plug to the radio station. One of the very first stories and interviews we did was with Fred Burton and his brother talking about their mom, who was a former teacher in Lebanon Special.
Right, yeah. Well, you mentioned that this means Byers Dowdy was built in 61 or opened in 61.
60, I guess it would, let's see, 62, because this is the 60th. Is it? I don't know.
I think. Well, anyway, what I remember when I was growing up. I mean, we had Highland Heights and we had McLean.
Yes.
So Byers Dowdy would have been the first past them, I guess. And then, of course, in time, they both folded or left the scene, and we've got all the others now.
Yes. So we're actually, as part of the civics grant, we will be compiling that history book, but again, students are taking the lead on that. So I may not be able to answer all of your questions, but what we have is a rich history that is recorded in school board minute meetings. Yeah. So we have all those school board minute books that go back, I think we go back to about 1920. So we may be able to find farther back than that when people start to know what we're doing with this project. But Diane Van Treese and I have already been in those books, and they're really interesting. But our students will actually be doing that as part of their learning this year.
Well, that'll be great. And, of course, a lot of this history you and I have lived.
Coleman, are you saying that I'm old?
I'm saying I am. We've got a minute to wrap it up. What else you got this morning?
Well, on Thursday, Connie Gray with our after-school program, she will be traveling. Both of us will be traveling to Ray County, and we're going to the Book Bus Bash, which is also a grant that we wrote together, and we were awarded this year. So this summer, we were able to get books out into the neighborhoods and into our summer school program, and that was a $9,000 award from the state of Tennessee. So shout out to the state for all these things that we are eligible to write grants for, and the awards that we are given throughout the state, just to capitalize on the great things that we already have going on.
Beth, thank you for being with us today. A lot of things that you know about Mr. Benson obviously knows, but he doesn't have all the details.
He has them. He says I like to talk a lot, and I just tell him I'm good at my job.
All right. Well, thank you a lot for being with us today.
Thank you, Coleman.
And that is going to do it for Tuesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. And until then, I wish you a terrific day.